Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a super exciting guest with me. I have the CEO of ScreenPro with me. John, thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here and happy Friday.
You too. All right, so let's jump right into the questions. And do you want to just give a brief summary about ScreenPro and yourself?
Sure. ScreenPro was started, we began in last September. It actually really started when we sat down with our very first lab in Vancouver, British Columbia. We partnered with them. We installed our first set of machines and we started processing for the film and television industry. And again, we started to grow from there. And from that, we started to grow across Canada. So we went west to east. And then from there, we are now working with, as we said publicly, 2 labs. We've partnered with them. And by that, we are able to install our own machines, our proprietary products that we have, and that we're able to process PCR tests. And just recently, we, as you know, announced with the press releases, rapid antigen tests. So that's been very exciting for us. And it's a company that just continues to grow, and we're looking forward to the next few months, but I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, for sure. And
Cool.
then just what's your background and your history?
My history is pretty simple. I joined the investment community back in 1998, and I went through a number of different companies. I actually helped seed a number of funds. I started working with a couple of groups, and then I moved over into the investment banking arm with a hedge fund in Toronto. And then from there, I was offered an opportunity to join another company, which I did. And then I started to say, okay, I want to keep focusing on this. And I was looking for a company that actually had real possibilities of being a success. And when I was offered the opportunity to take over the helm at ScreenPro, and I saw the metrics and I saw the potential, I said, okay, this is something I think will actually work out extremely well for everyone, including, and most importantly, our investors. So I can confidently go to them and say, you want to take a look at this, you want to be involved, come on in, let's work together.
Yeah, excellent. So, I mean, you have a really nice background of just the whole investing community and how to grow that shareholder value.
Well, it's one of those things where at the end of the day, building a business is one thing, but there's a real alchemy when you're a public company, because we were private. And as you know, we recently went public on the CSC under the symbol SCRN. But when you look at the whole metrics of it, you have to make sure that your investors are in contact with. And I do get a lot of emails and a lot of phone calls, and I try and get to all of them. But people have to remember, if I spend all my days talking to investors, I have to keep my eye on the business. So there is a balance. And I will say that, some investors will still get a phone call from me. But right now, it's been a very, very busy time.
Yeah, sounds good. Do you want to also talk about the management team?
Sure, the management team is actually pretty straightforward. It's myself, my VP of Operations, Lena, and then we have my CFO, Paul Haber. But to add just that as a core group, then you have other people such as our health and safety nurses, and we have our operating assistants on the field, and then you have our association of all of our advisors, which actually brings in opportunity for more business. So it's not just a core business here of about 10 to 15 employees. We also have, as you know, a large group of nurses that we can actually put forward. And when you look at the advisor group, you'll notice that we have medical, aviation, branding, things that actually can help move the company forward and have contacts. And also, you'll also notice that I have legal advisors that are in, the United States. So they're actually there for us as well. So we have a group that I'm looking forward is who do we need to have on side to make this company bigger in Canada and potentially outside of Canada.
Yeah, no, terrific. I mean, and like to just point out, those nurses are actually like your nurses. And I also know from doing due diligence that like you have the truck drivers as well, and that's all under kind of like your umbrella. So I mean, that's just another excellent point.
The way that we've been able to win a lot of business, especially in film and television, is that we offer them a complete package. It's not just the test, it's the processing of the test. Because when you're looking at something as specific as, I only have so much time to get my production up and running, and I need everybody set to be clear so they can actually go out. Sometimes they're upset when we find a positive test, but we've done our job when we find a positive test. So our nurses go, they do the testing, they collect the samples, they're off in the drivers, they're off to the lab, and then we report. And with that model, it can actually be applied on any business in Canada, in my opinion, because we really believe that Canada should get back to work. And that's why we're really excited about the rapid antigen test, because the rapid antigen test gives people immediate results. So when they walk into the room, they get the confidence to know that everyone in that operation is clear. They will still have the distance. They will still have to wear masks and until those times change. But for now, when you can go into a space where you know that everyone is clear and we say green and go, that works for us, because they love, our film companies love hearing that everyone's good to go to work. And if there's somebody that is infected, we've just protected all those other people. And that means the business continues to flow. So if you're a business owner and you want to ensure that your employees are safe and working forward, then call ScreenPro and we'll help you.
Oh yeah, it really gives you that extra level of assurance. So that's great.
Thank you.
Do you want to touch on your balance sheet and the kind of cash that you have?
The balance sheet is strong right now, but and by now I'm going to say that we're going through our audit and we're getting prepared for that. So let the accountants work on that, and we'll make some announcement in the near term. And I hope that everyone will be pleased with our results. Just wait for it; it's coming.
Sounds good. Possible catalyst for the company. Like, could we see any kind of like contracts or any more acquisitions with labs or anything like that?
Well, the lab situation is very interesting because we're getting asked, and it's a two-part part. Acquisition of labs, we're considering that as well right now, because, and we would be partnering with labs, and we would be doing that in regions where our client is saying, hey, we have something here. Now, I will tell you, with the launch of the rapid test, we actually been getting inbound calls from people. So as you may have noticed in the last press release, I said, reach out to ScreenPro and we can process that. And we're already getting inbound calls. So the demand is there. Our price point is very competitive, and we're actually getting very excited with how people are going to be moving. So it's actually something that, as the tests are going, as we layer on more services, that we do things like that, it adds additional revenue to the company, which leads to more profits and more returns to our investing public.
Yeah. So what would you say are the major catalysts right now for ScreenPro?
ScreenPro is all about closing more deals. ScreenPro wants to bring on more clients. We've been adamant about going out and talking to people. And here's the thing: is that this new business of this goal of getting back to work is one of the most important things that people have to really realize, is that you cannot open a business unless you know everyone is there. And as I drive around downtown Toronto, as I've had the opportunity of being out in Vancouver and in other places in the country, I've seen a lot of businesses closed up, restaurants, small business owners, that type. These are the people that need to get back to work. It's great to see travel at airport and people looking at that, but let's focus on what's really important to my opinion, Canadians. People need to pay their mortgages, take care of their families, take care of their children, all of that. If they're not working, they're not going to be able to do that. And this is why we're wanting to get people back to work, and testing does that.
No, yeah, exactly. It's really affected the economy, and you guys are a really important person in helping get Canada back on to.
Well, it's not just us. I have to give a big thanks to all of our nursing staff, who are our execution team, because I will tell you, in working with them and talking to them, they are actually passionate, and that's the way I can describe it, in fighting the virus. Because people, there's another thing about it. It's not only just the work, it's also the mental health of people. Schools need to be open. Children need to go back to school. I can tell you from my own personal experience in my children's school, one of the children in grade 1 tested positive for COVID, and that was quite a scare. And everyone had to do that. So we need to be very aware of what's going around us, so that people can get that, and people's mental health is also improved by this. Because let's face it, spring is coming, summer is coming, and let's face it, if people need to be inside, I don't want that. I want people to be outside, enjoying their life, enjoying their time with their family, going to work, getting that type of work, getting those things done, achieving their goals. And testing is an opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and being as safe as possible by doing this kind of testing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, exactly. Do you want to touch on the share structure and what the share count is fully diluted?
Fully diluted, we're over 330 million. I can send you a quick number after that, and you can share with your friends and your followers. But right now, over 20% of the stock is owned by management. I've been buying stock in the market as I've filed recently. And, everything right now is, I'm very confident where things are, and it's actually held diversified. And I will say thank you to all the investors out there for believing in us. And we know that you're there, and we know that we're going to deliver results for you. And that's what we want to do.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Do you see yourself and the company having to raise any capital via dilutions anytime soon?
At this point, as with any company, as a public company, you're public for the reason of raising money. But I can tell you at this point, we're not at the capacity of raising money at this time. if something interesting came about, we would actually consider it. But right now, we're running the business, and what I'm focused on right now is building more clients and building more revenue for the company at this juncture.
Yeah, and another point, just to talk about is I watched a previous interview that you did, and just hearing you're moving the money back into the company that you guys are making, and so that's just really, really important to see as well, and that's great. And so, are you?
Keeping money in the company is important, but also expanding the business is vital.
Yeah.
So we grow.
What is the current run rate of COVID tests being done at both of the labs right now?
At both labs right now, Landon, we're looking at upwards of 2,000 tests a day. We have capacity for more, and that's why we're looking to build our business model and execute on bringing in more tests into the company.
And what is the max capacity of possible tests per day?
Maximum, well, that's interesting. Maximum is basically how much material and how much equipment we have in the lab. But currently, we're looking at the capacity of being, as we said in previous press releases, in the thousands. So we're actually quite confident in how we can do that. And we're ready to onboard more business. And as I said before, we're looking to onboard more business as we move forward.
Yeah, no, excellent. And what do you see happening to ScreenPro once, like post-COVID? And what do you see it transitioning into?
Well, when we look at the equipment that we have, it's actually the baseline. Our PCR machines can actually test for a myriad of different ailments. And so it's not just COVID. If you look at other companies out there that are processing, and these are great companies and they're doing their work, they were actually testing for other diseases, and then they became testing for COVID. We're testing for COVID, and then we can test for other things going forward. So there's a diversification that we're looking at. And always, we're on the outlook for other opportunities for the company as well.
Mm-hmm. And is the revenue basis on that similar to the COVID testing? I know COVID testing right now, obviously, since it's in such high demand, it's going to be at a little bit more higher of profit margins and things like that. But would you say that roughly it would be somewhat near there?
An efficient lab is an effective lab, and it comes down to the market. So as we build our presence in the market, we'll also be building our presence in other areas as well. So we're looking forward to it, and it's something we do not take lightly. We always look to opportunities going forward.
Okay, sounds good. What does acquiring the COVID passport do for ScreenPro, and what doors does it open, and what do you see for the future of it going forward?
That's an excellent question. Really right now, because as I said earlier, we have had the opportunity of bringing this potential software package into our company. Now, what's really interesting about it is that it gives people immediate results, okay? Because when you have a dashboard and it's on your phone, then you're able to turn to people and say, I have it. And, not have it, I have a pass to go back to work. Because people shouldn't be people can't walk around with these. They can walk around with one of these. And they can show that, because everyone has a phone. And I can tell you, I've seen kids at my school with phones, and they're like 12 years old. But that being said, to have that application, and it also, I will stress that this is something that our clients today have asked for. They want automation, they want efficiency, they want the freedom to move around. And to have the knowledge that everyone in the room is carrying the passport on their phone and they're there to work with it, it's pretty fantastic. Makes it easier for them and reduces the stress in the room, to be quite honest.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that with contracts going forward, they're going to really want to see something like that, just so they have that accessibility and that reassurance when you're able to show it just on your phone for everyone, all your employers, and for everyone that you're working with.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. So last question: what are 3 goals that you have for the company going forward in 2021?
Diversification, growth, and returns, because with revenue, that generates everything. With other opportunities for the company to get involved with is fantastic. And really, at the end of the day, we're focused on growth. Growth is what we're working for. We're not resting on our hands here. We're being very active. We're getting referrals for more businesses, both in film and television. And as I said earlier, we're getting inbound calls for the test. That actually helps us. And I can tell you that it's a very exciting business. It's a very fast-paced business. And, I just ask for shareholders to be patient with reporting on our audit and everything else. A lot of things will be announced by then. And also we'll be announcing more announcements going forward.
Excellent, John. Thanks so much for your time today.
Hey, my pleasure, man.
Yeah, I hope we can do this again soon. And once you guys get some more news, this is going to be super, super exciting.
And as we say, test negative, stay positive.